Good morning, Niskayuna. It is March 7th, 2025, and we are in the Schaefer Room, which I forgot to say, we were talking about the resolution for our wonderful Paul Schaefer. We are at the Economic Development, Historic Preservation, and Environmental Conservation Committee, and I guess we'll start off with roll.
So online we have Doc Horton, and in the room we have Rita Ogburn McCall, Jean Bodie, Kara Parks, Alina Finnan, Courtney McGovero, John Delarada, Chairman, and Clark Henry.
Very good. And do we have anything from the public this morning?
I didn't receive any public concerns.
Okay, then that brings us to the minutes.
So we're a little behind in minutes.
All right.
Trisha's been sick. We're gonna come up with a way to try and catch them all up. And we will probably have 3 sets at the next meeting.
Okay, not a problem.
Oh, maybe. I've also been having the computer take transcripts and I've been plugging it into the AI. So.
That brings us to the resolutions.
Okay, so we have a resolution supporting the creation of the Underground Railroad byway through Niskayuna. It's basically done, but we want to talk about a couple of things before I think we bring it to the town board.
I don't know much about that. What
Do
is-
you have anything like in an email or anything that's been sent? Can somebody
sure.
forward all of that to me?
Yeah.
Sounds really interesting.
Yeah, so essentially there's a organization that is creating a byway, you know, that goes from, I think, New York City-ish
Mhm.
all the way over to almost Buffalo, and like it goes through here and then it dips down into Auburn where Harriet Tubman's house is, and it's using places that have stories that are connected to the Underground Railroad so that you could follow the Underground Railroad. And the main people that are trying to get the byway established are in an office in Albany, but it does stretch a fair way across the state. And they're asking all of the municipalities that they want to put the byway through to do a letter of support, a resolution of support, so that when they try and get the byway papers through, whoever does that approval, I don't know who does that approval. It'll show that the local communities are supportive of the byway.
Very good.
The one thing about the byway, it says the model resolution they give you, it says, you know, here's the history of the Underground Railroad. A lot of it's highlighting Harriet Tubman, and then you know, that we're supportive of the Underground Railroad, and also that we basically promise not to put up any billboard signs along the byway. We don't allow billboard signs in Niskayuna, so that's not like a hard ask for us, but it does say that in the resolution. And
How many stops locally are there? Do you know yet?
so there is a map and there is a website. What I think is actually interesting is the website doesn't show it going through Niskayuna, but the Lions Park train station was identified as a really good spot. So I think if we do the support, they're actually going to bend it up to the Lions Park train station and then bring it through. And then another thing that Rita mentioned is that, you know, if the Lions Park train station is on this byway, it may open up some other grant funds that we could use and that type of thing that goes. We also do have another byway actually almost along the exact same route, the Erie Canalway byway there.
Is that a byway?
It is a byway.
Really?
Yeah. I go to the byway meetings every once in a while because we are a partner and we give them like $500 a year, something like that. Do their thing.
Excellent.
But yeah, I can send the information out. You were a little worried that byway sometimes has restrictions, right?
It does legally have restrictions, but I mean, I literally have no information on it whatsoever, so I can,
Everything
if I
I
get
got-
information on it, then I can look into it and probably say it's okay, but.
Well, the county historian gave it to Rita. Rita gave it to me. Everything I got actually was from the byway's website, and then
Do
they
you have like a map of where they're planning to do it through Niskayuna or anything like that?
Well,
We supported it. We don't even know where it's going to be.
Well, it's a general map because it's still being formed. It's not, this isn't like the final step. Like if they were going to enact the byway, we'd probably have to do a formal recognition of the byway. This is so they can make application, and it says that we're supportive of the byway going through here. So there is a map showing where it'll go.
I mean, we could probably do like additional support,
Yeah, I mean,
like saying like we haven't been given the formal, the final
well, no,
map to show where it is, but
yeah, but I mean, did you read? I don't think it's like we're in forever. It's like we're supportive of the byway. It's a resolution of support.
yeah, I mean, I'm an attorney, so what's what's a big deal to me might not be a big deal to somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, I go to the Erie Canal Byway meetings all the time. I have found them to be incredibly innocuous and good for our town. They bring in like.
And not to insinuate it's not, or that we shouldn't do it. I just want to make sure I'm
Because I mean,
crossing my T's and dotting my I's.
right. I mean, I think the interest, like, there's a possibility that in the end it wouldn't go through Niskayuna, but why wouldn't we want to support the Underground Railroad if it does go through Niskayuna? Like,
Yeah, I love our New York.
Yeah.
Familiar with the Harriet Tubman House and all that stuff. So I'm not opposed by any means. I just want to make sure. Even.
And that
all the
brings
information we
us
can get.
to Market 32.
okay.
Yeah, so the route that the Nally story is what really, ties ties this unit to the train station and the whole Harriet Tubman thing. There's actually Free Charles is a nice book to read. Yeah, it's there's different books written about the whole situation because it was large. This unit played a minor part, whereas someone here had money for them when they got here, $100, for them when they got here. Yeah, it was said that he stayed at a farmhouse because they've been looking for him all.
Yeah, that would be really interesting and a very good learning experience for everybody.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, because I'm saying there is a direct connection to the Underground Railroad here. And it's not only one time that happened. This was actually a route, to go, because they usually travel the way of the railroad.
Yeah, it's really cool. So it's Harriet Tubman Corridor NewYork.com. Yeah, so.
And
We don't have Mr. Tarpino here today, do we?
And here's the proposed route. See the dip down right there here is for Harriet Tubman's house in Auburn.
Ah,
But yeah, it starts in New York City, ends in Buffalo. This is Schenectady County here, and it's coming up the side. And that's when they identified that, going along rivers and railroads were very important, Underground Railroad. And they have some documentation of, like Rita was saying, kind of trying to set someone free, get them up to Canada from the Lions Park area.
the Lions Park.
Yeah.
And there's multiple accounts. I mean, it's not just one. As a matter of fact, there's the Underground Railroad. It's a historical society in Albany. So I know they're going to be involved in it.
That's their house. Yeah. So it has goals and objectives. It has a timeline. Right now, they're trying to get the municipalities to support the byway. We're talking about potential legislation to make it a formal byway a year from now. And then if we're lucky enough to be along the way, then, I think by the time the legislation is going to come a year from now, we would be. But it's important when they're actually showing NISDOT and whoever that, they're not like imposing it on municipalities. Like municipalities want it to be there.
and I'm sure there'll be some collateral benefits as well. So
It's going to be on a lot of tourists. It's like a tourist walk, and a lot of like tourists. So they'll probably have like tourist events set up along the way, which the train station building would be a really nice place to have a tourist stop. And that's money for the town.
how are we doing with our ceremonial resolutions? For a wonderful architect. who's given so much to the town. Just really had. I mean, I can't believe it.
So, yes, our next one is a resolution recognizing Market 32's outstanding landscaping installation and maintenance efforts at Market 32 place in 2024. We talked about it at the last meeting. I reached out to Market 32. When they took over for ShopRite Plaza, there was a number of really dead, neglected trees in the plaza. The landscaping had been kind of abused over the years, and they worked with the tree council to install more landscaping. And very unusually, last year was a very hot year. They watered it almost every day, so they didn't die. And the tree council wants to recognize their commitment to the landscaping, how much better they made an area in our town center overlay district. And I reached out to Market 32, and they were really excited about it. They want to come to the meeting. They would love to be involved in a press release when we do the resolution and everything. So
That's great.
very excited. They sent us some pictures. So we'll have that ready to go. And then this was Elena's idea, and it's a great idea. A lot of times we do the Arbor Day resolution kind of after Arbor Day because of the timing. Arbor Day is going to be April 26th, but we're thinking if we're doing, this recognition of Market 32, the tree council is going to be there anyway, that we could do a resolution recognizing Arbor Day in March, advertising the date for April. Then it's out there.
Perfect.
Everybody sees it. We don't miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, good
Alina is very smart. So, and then, D is a request to do a presentation on phase 2 of the natural resources inventory. So that ties into our Mohawk River Watersheds NRI grant. We do have kind of a final draft of the NRI. We're at the CAC, it's in the CAC packet. It's about 200 pages long. So, Ashok is going to do like an executive summary with some of the highlights, and he'd like to do a presentation to the town board. He could do it at the end of the March meeting, or if we're already doing all the ceremonials, we could do it maybe on the agenda meeting. I don't know when you guys would want that. I don't think it'll be super long. But the idea is we'd show the natural resources inventory, show what, what we found. And I think it was a $16,000 grant that we're completing. And then, let the town board, ask all the questions and take a look at the document, for potential adoption or recognition, which is what we did with the last one.
That makes sense.
I don't have a sense of the March meeting. Do you think it'd be okay to do
March
March?
is pretty light with the resolutions. So I don't see an issue doing it March. We don't usually do presentations on the agenda meeting. If it's a special meeting, we do presentations.
Okay,
It could be done at finance, but I don't know if finance is. Yeah, so
so could we put it tentatively at the March meeting? Okay. For the presentation, and then we'll just make sure we run it past Aaron. And okay, and then E is Rita has found a person that she would like to appoint to the Historic Preservation Committee.
Carol McCarthy. Carol McCarthy is descended from the Ties family, TYS. Okay, it was Ties family farm where Glen Eddie is right now. Glen Eddie bought that land from them. And she has the barn. She still owns the barn and that property. It's in the back. You can see it off of Console Road. It's a red barn with the house and the driveway. I mean, the 2-car garage that's like right at the head of the driveway. So she came and she did guest discussion with us and told us about the history. And it was one of the most beautiful meetings we've had.
Wow.
It was, and I would love her to do this for the town as well, because she would really enjoy the stories. Her father left Poland during the Nazi occupation, and he came. Yes, they lost a great grandfather, and they lost a grandmother, and then they came here, and in 1925, they bought the farm.
Is that farm in this community?
Yes, it's right off Console
Right
Road, but it's Glen Eddie actually now.
Oh, geez, that's
That
lovely.
property, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So, she still owns the part that's on the Console Road end of it, yes.
Excellent.
So
Good pick.
yeah. Oh, yeah,
She's a great
she's
addition.
I mean, when I send somebody nerdy books and they get back to me like hours later, they've read it. Like, okay.
That's great, huh?
So what was her name again?
Carol, and with an E on the end,
Mhm.
and McCarthy.
Kathy.
Yes.
And then can you just have her send her resume to me, and then we'll give it to Courtney, just so that the board has it.
And I'll send you some also stuff that she wrote for that's actually over at the Schenectady County Historical Society.
Okay.
Because she knows all the people that I know. That's another thing. It's
That's
like,
nice.
yes, over there. So she has done a lot of research already. So she's a self-starter. I also got her to sign on to Gleanings and to be editor,
No, that's great. Just have her get her resume.
Yes, I'll get
Yeah.
her resume.
Yeah. Okay. And then F, do we want to add a resolution recognizing Jim McKinney, Jen?
We do. I don't want to rush it though. There's a lot there. It's a big revolution. Yeah, no rush. I just want to make sure we don't let it slip
Forget
through
it.
the cracks.
Yeah.
A while ago, I reached out to him and asked him for basically his resume, and so we do have that. So I
Okay,
think I think we could put that together.
that'd be great. All right.
And see if that date works for him too.
When's our meeting in this month?
The agenda's the 11th.
April 4th.
Oh,
It's April 25th. Sorry, March 25th.
March.
My brain.
All right, thank you.
Okay, David he was gonna try and attend remotely. He had something, that was keeping him from today, but he obviously wasn't able to come remotely, so,
We'll catch up with it.
yeah, we can catch up with them. I'd say the big things that are happening at planning board right now are obviously the improvements to GE. Everybody probably saw the GE's investing like millions and millions of dollars in upgrading its campuses on Niskayuna. They are working on an outdoor patio at their new greenhouse gas capturing building off of Balltown Road, so that they can have sort of indoor, outdoor workspaces and gathering areas. It's really nice. That's coming before the planning board. We've also had a couple, I would say, a fairly, we're getting to the point where a 2-lot subdivision is a fairly difficult thing. These lands are challenged, and dividing them even further isn't as easy as it sounds. So we've had a couple, I'd say, fairly challenging 2-lot subdivisions. And then probably the big one that's on everybody's mind, people keep asking, is Dave's Hot Chicken. We have been working with them to get a Dave's Hot Chicken to come to Mohawk Commons. Their building decoration package is quite a departure from what we would allow at Mohawk Commons, generally speaking. The board has been working on compromises. We're expecting a tenant change resolution at this meeting, and then maybe finalizing what the outside of the building will look like, if we get them. And is that pretty much it? Yeah.
Mhm.
Did anybody have planning board questions?
It's big news with GE, and the amount of money that's being invested by
it's huge.
technological companies in this area is a really big testament to what's going on in this area. They wouldn't be pouring this kind of money in this unit in Schenectady if they'd have confidence in the area, in the town, and in the city, and in the county. So somebody's doing something right. That's definitely a good sign.
Yeah.
Hey,
You're great.
you guys are stealing my report. That's okay.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Pretend like you heard nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. For zoning board, we had 2 cases for zoning board, both area variances. The grants update, the Climate Smart Communities grant, we're still working on the community greenhouse gas inventory. The NYSERDA grant, electric lawn equipment, we really need Trish for this. I don't think we have the final pieces, so we're waiting on those. She's been working really hard on that. The Mohawk River Watershed NRI grant, like I said, that is done. Our last steps are to present to the town board and get that recognized. And then the linkage study grant on Route 7, probably also a real big one. I will cover that a little bit more in Complete Streets. So Complete Streets has been working on the sidewalk projects, the Cornelius Ave and Birchwood. They've had some feedback from the residents in that area. We're waiting the surveys, and then we want to do another outreach to people. Our priority letters are basically finalized. We need to just bring them to Erin for her signature. You can sign them too if you want, John. Essentially, they just state to the state, county, and schools what our top 3 priorities are. Obviously, New York State is Route 7. To try and just keep what we think, if they were going to invest in the town, just, you know, what are, keep what's happening here top of mind. They've been successful in the past, and they've actually been very helpful when we had a problem, because we were able to say that we'd submitted these priority letters and this is what we identified as needing help with. So I do recommend that we do send them. And then see the linkage study. I think we did a press release on this following the tragedy that happened last week on Route 7. The linkage study has been moving forward. We've had some meetings. We've been collecting groups of people who are stakeholders on Route 7. Are going to do a walk along Route 7. Actually, I think normally people walk along Route 7. We're going to do a dedicated stop and look around along Route 7 in a couple of the areas. And you're going to see a lot of public outreach to get people's ideas, concerns, questions, come up with these concepts that should be able to be much closer to, like, we like to call them shovel-ready projects for grant applications. The consultant is Lavella, and the Transportation Council, the Capital Region Transportation Council, NISDOT, Schenectady County, they all come to these meetings. So it's been very successful so far, and I think you're about to see a much more public phase of it, which should help people get involved and feel like they're having a say in what's happening on that corridor. We also met with New York State DOT to talk about some short-term goals for them, helping us get some cameras up on the corridor, and then some medium long-term goals of how we're going to fund the safety improvements and complete streets designs that we really want to see. And Jordan just sent me last night that Governor Hochul has announced 90 million in safe roads. So I will be reaching out and seeing if we are able to go for that one, which I expect that hopefully we will. I think DOT has always been really good about us being able to ask for these things. So we're working away on Route 7. Does anybody have any questions on that one? Okay. The Tree Council draft street tree master plan is ready for circulation. At some point that needs to probably be a presentation at the town board too, but CACS first. So maybe I'll come back next month with a ask for that. And then the big one, which is why Jean is here, is that we're calling Arbor Day Arbor Fest this year. We do get more points as a tree city to have it be a festival, not just a day. So April 26th from 11 to 1, we are going to have a band this year, and we're going to try and bring in a couple of food trucks and have a little bit more of, I mean, people are pretty good at, I think generally they pick up their tree, but they do kind of wander around sometimes and talk to the vendors, but we're hoping to really get them to stay for the whole 2 hours. It would really be a festival and a celebration of trees. So we've got a bunch of really good ideas. Jean is going to help with the sound system and getting us ready to go. I'm sure Trish will organize all of the booths. So put that date on your schedule. We'll send out a save the date, and we can announce it too on the March meeting when we're doing our resolution for Arbor Day. It's gonna be really fun.
Band been selected yet?
Yeah, I mentioned your band, Doc, because I know that you have offered to do Arbor Day before, but there's actually a former tree council member whose band is gonna play. So just
Okay.
Got the inside edge on you, Don.
You need to keep in mind that's also National Drug Take Back Day. And I don't know what the police department plans are for that this year.
yeah, they usually are pretty good. It's always the same day. It always is.
I know it is, but
Yeah.
if it's bigger and we have people coming in, we need to include them in the conversation.
Yeah, I always do. So Conservation Advisory Council they've been working on some of the more challenging subdivisions, the same as the planning board. And then again, the NRI presentation is what they would really like to get before the town board right now. The Architectural Review Board. Did you want to say anything about that, Kevin?
Sure, I can give a quick update. Their most recent meeting was February 19th, and they're really keeping their eyes on 7 projects that are all coming through the planning board. The most important projects are Dave's Hot Chicken, like Laura mentioned. They helped provide some advice to the planning board for a good compromise between some really bold facade art and signage.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah.
Do they have, are they local? They got places around the
They're-
capital region?
Countrywide, yeah, they have a place in Albany near Albany. They have a place in Queensbury,
Hmm.
and they're across the country. They're very popular. Some people are very, very excited that they're coming to Niskuna. So the board and the ARB are trying to work with them. They really like some really bold, brightly colored signage. And in Mohawk Commons, there's some zoning code requirements for more muted colors. So they're kind of working together to find a happy medium, and the ARB's been helping out with that. They also are keeping their eye on the Niskuna Harbor project and the project for Harry's Mobile on Troy Schenectady Road, just helping to make those as aesthetically pleasing as possible. And they're also helping with the new freshwater wetland laws, because they're out there, members of the ARB are out there working on projects, and they're exposed to these new wetland changes as well. So everyone's kind of trying to absorb them and understand them together. So they're a valuable resource for that too.
Yeah, that's a great board to have. And with Harry's Mobile, I mean, if aesthetically that can be improved along with some improvements to his business, that's a win-win.
Yeah.
Because that's a very visible area, obviously.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was a great creation. Thank you, Clark. And that brings us to the Comprehensive Plan Committee.
Yeah, so the Comprehensive Plan Committee, I think, is really starting to build a little momentum. It's really helped to have the consultant. We did a really good meeting at our last Comprehensive Plan Committee. The consultant has gone through all the public outreach we did over the last year and combined it into a chapter, which we're just putting the finishing touches on. So it'll be a new chapter that we didn't have in the comprehensive plan last year, but it basically goes through everything we did for public outreach and what we learned from the public when we were building the plan. And then this meeting coming up, I think we're really going to try and hone in on getting the mobility and transportation chapter ready to go. The Complete Streets has been working on it for over a year, and they've given the draft to the comprehensive plan committee. While we're working on that, the consultant is building updates to the land use and economic development chapters. So, and Rita's been working away on the historic preservation chapter with David and Dart and myself. So we're getting there. Our goal is to get that to the town board by October. Building department and enforcement, the new building inspector is starting March 17th. So hopefully that'll be a lucky day. And then the big thing that I wanted to put on here is the adoption and enforcement of the short-term rental code. So, you know, in January, we finalized the code. Last month, we had to adopt the fees. And what I've been working on since then is finalizing the application and working on a letter to anybody who owns a short-term rental that I can find in any of the platforms that says, here's the code. You need to register within such and such a day. And the other piece that we were working on for a while was what to do with the existing rentals, whether or not they were grandfathered in or how we had to treat them. We didn't really know the answer to that. So Elena reached out to the Association of Towns to get some good guidance. And, you know, they sent us some legal citations that basically say that it, generally speaking, the existing rentals need to comply with the code that we have adopted. That will affect basically all of the rentals that we can see that are existing now because we adopted the 1 week minimum. So, you know, the supervisor's idea was we do recognize that that's going to cause, you know, a lot of challenge as this, I mean, this year is probably going to be the hardest because it's the first year of implementation and there's already some notices out there, but we're gonna see if we can work with Airbnb to let them know the code changes, and then they can work with the owners, so that the owners can reach out to the people that already have the rental agreements in place, so that they will all eventually comply with our code as adopted this year. It is, we knew it was going to be, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of back and forth. So, yeah, just feel free to reach out if you have questions, but you may hear things about it as well. It's a hard thing to implement, which we knew it was going to be.
Well, thank you. Before we go to the planning department, I'm very anxious to hear from the entity that is most responsible for the rebirth of Schenectady County. And that is Metroplex, because Doc, I might have to leave a little bit early and I don't want to miss it. Are you there?
I'm right here.
All
I
right,
just,
my friend, let's hear it.
Okay, sure. One of the things I wanted to point out is that this was a big announcement that came out in late January. And at the time, as many of you know, I was in the hospital with my wife. And so I actually overlooked that in my last report, but I think it really is worthwhile having in our minutes about Governor Hochul's announcement about GE Vernova's investment of $96 million for energy innovation at their research center here in our town. As we know, that is certainly one of the major investments in our town, and GE has certainly has been doing a phenomenal job. And I want to point out that Ray has done a lot, Ray particularly, but the Metroplex in general has done a great job in repairing the relationship between GE and Schenectady County. There were a lot of hard feelings when GE pulled out a couple of decades ago. However, one of the great things about this is that this is something that certainly GE is going to Vernova is going to continue to build on. I want to direct you, if you haven't had an opportunity to do so, to the Metroplex's annual report that Ray gave last month to the county legislature. And he showcased that, gave us a preview of it, a great PowerPoint presentation. But the part that certainly pertains to us is the fact that he, again, just highlighting the $10 million. This is separate from the other $96 million that GE Vernova has invested in their direct air capture facility. And it's a 28,000 square foot facility. It is a phenomenal report. And so I certainly encourage you to look at that. The other thing I wanted to point out is that it was announced that that Schenectady County and actually ranked #1 in GDP in the entire state. Okay, and this report.
Can you say that again?
Yes, Schenectady County ranked #1 in GDP growth in the entire state. More so than any other state. We had a 5% increase over 2023, and this report was released in 2024, but it was at the end of December 2024, and so the total GDP for our county was more than $11.3 billion. Now, obviously, the report does not break that down per town and place or city. However, given the types of investments that we've experienced over the year in the town, certainly as outlined by Ray's prior presentations, we know that Niskayuna played an important part in that growth. And so those are some. So I really would encourage you guys, if you haven't had a chance, to just go to the Metroplex website, click up, open the annual report, and I'm telling you, you're talking about some phenomenal numbers, And I guess what I'm saying is that uh, as far as the Metroplex is really doing well by our town. I'm gonna pause right there.
Thank you, Doc, and make sure you give our thanks to Ray because he has been unbelievable over the past couple decades in what he's done.
I tell you, I think we ought to give him the key to the town or something.
Yeah, we really should.
Really,
Thank
uh,
you. And
a proclamation or something because he just has phenomenal leadership.
Thanks, Zach.
Sure.
very good.
Concludes my report.
Thank you. And with Mr. McKinney,
Mhm.
not just a resolution, can we dedicate something maybe in the Lions Park area to him? I mean, he's done so much at Lions Park and something like, that's permanent.
How about a marker? I mean, we have the plaque program.
I'm sorry?
We have the plaque program. How about a marker for him?
Yeah, or maybe even the
Pick a
What-
gazebo nearby or something. Is there a
Yeah.
gazebo nearby? Does that have a name on it? Yeah, there is. Do we know if that's got a memorial name on it or not?
We're going down there today, so.
Oh, yeah. Do you guys want to check out that gazebo? Because you
Yeah,
can
that's cool.
basically like say, okay, this is the Jim McKinney gazebo and it can have a little plaque. Really is like when he did, yeah.
Something his grandkids could see.
Good idea.
Okay, so that brings us to the planning department.
So, Clerk, do you want to talk about the drainage analysis?
Yeah, we don't have any real big news other than we had mentioned that we would be kicking this off in the spring and the spring is approaching. So we've got a lot of groundwork laid and we're kind of finalizing, really introducing the program and reaching out to residents to really engage residents on what it's about and just share the program a little bit more. So it isn't really officially kicked off yet, but it's getting very close.
Good.
I don't know about anybody else's yard, but my shed is already flooded.
Is it really?
I was like, and there it is.
Yeah, drainage doesn't excite anybody until it starts coming in their house. It's really the way that works.
Yeah, my shed didn't used to flood that much, but now it just seems like it's just wetter. I think it's just the climate and yep, it's underwater today. So for the Console Road sidewalk,
That's been hanging out.
I know you and I need to schedule a meeting. When do you want to go? Because we have the drawings. We just need to go out and meet that guy and show him the drawings that we paid for.
We do.
Yeah.
And then what?
Then we need to see,
If
I mean,
he
I
could
know
do
the
an
last
easement of
time,
some sort.
yes, the last time you talked to him, I think he wanted to know if he could be compensated for the easement, which he can.
Yes.
But I
And
think,
also, I think he was interested in some type of green wall.
which is on the plans.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I made him put
Good,
that
because
on
I
there.
thought that was gonna be an issue with the amount of space that we have.
I think so. We
Good,
can
good.
show him those plans. I specifically had them put in landscaping along the path. So we could look at that and see if that's something he wants to pursue.
We'll do that within the next week or
Okay.
two.
So I'll just reach out to you to schedule that.
Although we don't have all the funding for it, but we gotta keep it moving. Yeah.
And then Winnie Road easement, yeah, I need to call those guys. I sent them the letter in the mail, which they asked for. It's been a while, so I'll give them a call. Elena, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, well, I'm getting ready to go to court. I think that's really my
For
update.
Alba?
Yes.
Yeah. And you, yeah, okay. Rita?
No, pretty much. We talked about everything.
Yeah.
Just been helping out with, I've been getting quite a bit of emails now from people in the town.
With questions
With
and wanting to know.
questions and research and, yeah, so it's really good. I mean, yeah, it's nice. You wake up in the morning and you have emails.
Projects.
Yeah, projects.
Yes. Well, I just want to thank you, Rita. You have been sending monthly reports and keeping us up to date of the Historic Preservation Committee. We put right into our Laserfiche. So,
I owe you one.
do you for this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you've been doing a really good job of that, and I very much appreciate it.
Yeah, you've gotten quite a bit done, so I do, we appreciate it. Absolutely.
I tell you, I love this town. I mean, this is home, you know,
And it shows.
and I want to see it just.
Absolutely. Well, very good. Is there anything else for the good of the order in the town of Niskayuna? I will make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye, and we are
Aye.
adjourned. With another $96 million in the bank, Doc.
That's right. Niskayuna
Well
is
done.
on a roll.
Unbelievable.
Oh, boy.
All right, people, have a very good weekend.
Good luck in court, John.
Yeah.